Today we are going to study about tense. Tense shows time of action. It shows time of action. Now this tense has three parts. Present tense. Second one is past tense, and third one is future tense. Clear? Tense shows time of action. Tense has been classified into three parts: present tense, past tense, and future tense. Each of these tenses have four parts. First one is indefinite. Second one continuous. Third one perfect. And fourth one perfect continuous. Means tense has three parts: present tense, past tense, and future tense. Present tense has four parts: present indefinite tense, present continuous tense, present perfect tense, and present perfect continuous tense. Past tense has four parts: past indefinite tense, past continuous tense, past perfect tense, and past perfect continuous tense. And future tense has four parts: future indefinite tense, future continuous tense, future perfect tense, and future perfect continuous tense. Now we are going to study about present indefinite tense. So let's put ID present indefinite tense. Present indefinite tense. Now, how would we recognize that a Hindi sentence is in present indefinite tense? This is the most important question, and we all have studied that present those Hindi sentences which have ta hai, ti hai, te ho, ta ho. Those Hindi sentences which have ta hai, ti hai, te ho, and ta ho at the last of the sentence is said to be in present indefinite tense. But that Hindi sentence must have any of these one and must have a dynamic verb. Dynamic verb. Now the matter is that what is a dynamic verb? So those Hindi sentences which have ta hai, ti hai, te ho, ta hu at the last of the Hindi sentence and a dynamic verb is there, it's said to be in present indefinite tense. Now the matter is that what is a dynamic verb? Dynamic verb has been classified into two parts. Normal and non-continuous. Normal verb means which shows mental action. Means, for example, love, hate, wish, desire. Clear? Non-continuous verb means which shows physical action. For example, call, write, put, run, etc. Now, here we have studied that those Hindi sentences which have ta hai, ti hai, te ho, ta ho at the last, and a dynamic verb is there, is said to be present in indefinite tense. Dynamic verb is classified into two parts, normal verb and non-continuous verb. Normal verb shows mental actions, for example, love, hate, wish, desire. And non-continuous verb means physical action, for example, call, write, put, and run. Means Hindi sentences must have any one of these five, and a mental action verb or a physical action verb should be there. Then the sentence will be in present indefinite tense. Let's have an example. For example, वह मुझे पढ़ाता है. Each of these tenses, means present indefinite tense, have three kinds of sentences. First one is affirmative sentence. Second one is negative sentence, and third one is interrogative sentence. Affirmative sentence, negative sentence, and interrogative sentence. Let us study about affirmative sentence. So put a heading here. Affirmative sentence. Now, affirmative sentence means those sentences which declare something which is positive. Clear? So the rule for affirmative sentence is subject plus verb first form plus object plus other verb. This is the rule for affirmative sentence of present indefinite tense. And subject, verb, and object. These three are the most important part of a Hindi sentence. If you want to translate a Hindi sentence into English or an English sentence into Hindi, then we must be able to find out the subject, verb, and object in that particular sentence. So, how will we find out that what is the subject, what is object, and what is verb in the sentence? So the method is that, for example, here I have written an example. वह मुझे पढ़ाता है. वह मुझे पढ़ाता है. Suppose we don't know what is object, what is verb, and what is subject in the sentence. Clear? So for you all, a Hindi sentence always ends with a noun, a pronoun, or an adjective. Clear? So we have to do nothing. We have to come at the last of the Hindi sentence and we have to find out whether this particular word is a noun, pronoun, adjective, or a verb. So we came to know that it is a verb. Padhana is a physical action, means it's a dynamic verb. So it's a verb. Now, first verb is we are able to find out verb. Now, second one. When there are two steps. First one. When we are asked a question, con to the verb, then we get subject. and when we ask a question, then we get object. So in this sentence, वह मुझे पढ़ाता है. So ask the question, कौन to the verb, कौन पढ़ाता है. Then we get the answer, वह पढ़ाता है. So it's a subject. Now we have to find out object. Then ask another question, क्या पढ़ाता है, क्या पढ़ाता है. We are getting no answer. So ask this question, किसे पढ़ाता है. Then we got the answer, मुझे पढ़ाता है. So to find out of subject, object and verb in a sentence, this is the method. Ask the question कौन, then we will get subject. When we will ask the question क्या और किसे to the verb, then we get object. Now in present indefinite tense, we all know that this is plural subject and this is singular subject. In singular subject, he, she, it, boy, girl, Ram, Sita. And in plural subject, I, we, they, you, boys, girls, Ram and Sita. So these all are considered as singular subject and these all are considered as plural subjects. Clear? Now these are singular pronouns. I have written here boy and girl. So it stands for boy and girl. It stands for these two are common nouns. These two, boy is a common noun and girl is a common noun. So all common nouns in singular form are considered as singular subject. All common nouns in singular form are considered as singular subject, and here I have written Ram and Sita. Ram is a proper noun and Sita is a proper noun. So if a singular proper noun is there, then it is also considered as singular subject. In this section, I, we, they, you are plural pronouns. Here I have written boys and girls. So boys is plural common noun, girls is also plural common noun. So we came to know that plural common nouns are also considered as plural subjects. Here two proper nouns are connected with conjunction and. So if two proper nouns are connected with conjunction and, then it is also considered as plural subject. So singular subject and plural subjects is clear to you all. Let's go to the next step. Here the rule is subject plus verb first form plus object plus other verb. Now the problem is that we all know that in present indefinite tense, first thing, s or es is added in verb. S or es is added in the verb. So the problem is that first one, why s or es is added at the last of the verb, and second question is that if it is added, then how it is added. So let's solve this one. First one, why s or es is added in the verb? We all know that according to subject verb agreement, singular subject requires singular verb and plural subject requires plural verb. Means singular subject requires singular verb and plural subject requires plural verb. Now we all, for you all the verbs, all the physical action verbs or mental action verbs are in plural form. All the physical action verb or mental action verb, for example, run, play, love, go, teach, put, cut. These all are physical action verbs or mental action verbs. So these all verbs are in plural form when they are in their initial stage. Means run is in its initial stage, it's plural. Play is also plural. Love is also plural. Go is also plural. Teach is also plural. Put is also plural. Cut is also plural. So it's clear to us, if the subject is plural, we can write plural verb. Plural subject, plural verb. For example, you is also plural subject. Plural subject, plural verb. They is also plural subject. Plural subject, plural verb. Clear? Now, if the subject is singular, then what should we do? That's why, if the subject is singular, he, then we can't write this run, because this is singular subject and this is plural verb. So according to subject verb agreement, this process, this sentence is wrong, because singular subject requires singular verb. So to make the verb singular, he run. To make this verb singular, we add s or es. Now the confusion clear? Why do we add s or es in the verb? Because when we need a singular verb, then we add s or es to make that plural verb into singular. Next question is, how do we add s or es in the verb? How do we add s or es in the verb? So first thing, subject should be singular. Clear? Second, O double S SH CH X. If a verb has any one of these five, either O, double S, SH, CH or X, and the subject is singular, then we will add es in that particular verb. But if the subject is singular and none of these five is there at the last of the English verb, then we add s. Means first person, subject should be singular. After that, if any one of these five is there at the last of the verb, then we will add es. And if subject is singular and none of these five is at the last of the English verb, then we add s. Let's have an example. For example, go. Here is O. then we add es. Goes. Press, here it's double S, then we add es. Clear? Next is wash, here it's sh, then we add es. Next is teach, here it is ch, then we add es. Next is call, here it's L, so we came to know that it has no O, double S, SH, CH, X. None of these five is at the last of this verb, then we will add S. Next is put, so here is also T, none of these five, then we add S. Puts. Clear? So first thing, why do we add S or es? The answer is to make the verb singular. How do we add S or es? So these topics, we add S or es. We add es when any of these five is at the last of the English verb and subject is singular. And if the subject is singular and none of these five is at the last of the English verb, then we add S. Clear? Let's translate the sentence. So, to translate a sentence, we have to follow these 4 steps. First one, we have to find out in which tense the sentence is. Second one, which type of sentence that is. Third one, what is the rule of that particular sentence. And fourth one, what is subject, verb and object in that sentence. We have to find out tense, then sentence, then rule of that particular sentence of that tense, and subject, verb and object. Let's have an example. वह मुझे पढ़ाता है. First thing, tense. ताहे is there and dynamic verb is there. Dynamic padhana, action verb. So it's present indefinite tense. Now it's affirmative sentence, means it's affirmative sentence. The rule for affirmative sentence or present indefinite tense is subject plus verb first form plus object plus other word. So these 3 steps clear. Now we have to find out subject, verb and object. पढ़ाता है is verb. कौन पढ़ाता है? तो वह पढ़ाता है. किसे पढ़ाता है? तो मुझे पढ़ाता है. This step is also clear. Now we have to follow this rule. So first one, subject, वह, he. Verb first form, पढ़ाना, so teach. Teach. Next is we are also to take care that s or es is added. So first step, is it singular subject? Yes, he is a singular subject. If he is a singular subject, then s or es will be added at the last of the verb. So what will be added here? Either s or es. So we came to know that here is ch at the last of the verb. Then we add es. He teaches, object me. Clear? Last example. मैं तुम्हें बुलाता हूँ. So verb, मैं तुम्हें बुलाता हूँ. कौन बुलाता है? मैं. किसे? तुम्हें. ट्रांसलेट, आई. वर्ब फर्स्ट फॉर्म, टीच. Let's check it out whether S or ES will be added in teach or not. Since I is a plural subject, so S or ES will not be added at the last of the verb. So it will be same, plural subject, plural verb, I teach you. So this is a short description, and after this we will study further ahead of these topics.